something we all need. Gotta have it now if you wanna succeed. Striving, surviving, that's no doubt. Sticking together, we gon' find a way out. So all you young people, give it your all. So all you young people, give it your all. So all you young people, give it your all. So all you young people, give it your all.
Good afternoon, the back community. Thank you as always for staying involved. Thank you for staying engaged. This afternoon, I had to bring out some old gear. I had to go digging in the crates for this one. For those of you guys who are listening to the podcast via podcast platforms, you're not going to be able to see it. But, I got one of my old motto t-shirts, Men Organized to Develop, Empower, and Lead, because the person that I have right here with me is Mr. Antwan Henry himself. He was one of the founding members of this organization with me there in Albany, New York, when we decided to create it as a nonprofit. Right. So me and him have worked together. This dude called me his boss before we started filming. I brought this out for you, Twan, because this interview is all about the nostalgia that I know we're gonna bring out. But the back community, without further ado, our guest for this afternoon is Mr. Antwan Henry. We're gonna dive into your story, Twan. I want you to tell us everything about the Ash way of life, what you got going on with real estate, what you got going on with your family. First and foremost, shout out to you and your wife on the latest edition that you guys just had.
Yeah. We're not done though, Number 6, man. Number 6. So I'm just happy to be here. I'm ready to tell, give advice or let people know what we do behind the scenes. It's definitely a busy schedule. We mapped out our schedule this morning and it is pushed back for about an hour or two, so we'll be up late. So we work hard.
Listen, I can only imagine. I got 3, so if you got 6, I can only imagine. But listen, man, I'm gonna hit you with your first official question because, as you said, you guys got schedules, so I know that you are a busy man. But I'm gonna hit you with your first official question.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Antwan Henry, what kind of work do you do? Or what are you involved in? Here's your opportunity to tell the back community more about you.
Well, I'm a social media influencer. With that being said, that's basically we do a lot of our business on social media. We take pictures, we do reels, we do skits, we do everything on social media so we can be able to entertain the world and get our life story out there. So we're just trying to be a model family for the rest of the world. Besides that, we breed dogs. We got golden doodles, standard doodles. We also are property investors. Right now we're doing Airbnbs, and now in about a month or two, we're going to be looking into tax deeds. So, that's a lot of study because it's not easy. When you get ready to go to those auctions, they don't tell you what's the problems or anything that's going on in those properties. And sometimes you don't even get pictures. So it's a lot of studying on the communities and the places of where you're going to buy from.
Okay. Listen, man, I'm going to fast forward to a question that typically comes a lot later. I'm going to hit you with it now.
Yes.
How do you find a work-life balance? You listed off, like I said, everything from real estate. You guys are breeding dogs. You have 6 kids. On top of that, you're married, so that's job number 1 right there.
Right.
I always tell everybody, it's important to find what your balance will be if you have a balance. But for you, Antwan Henry, how do you find a work-life balance with everything that you're juggling and you got going on?
Number 1 is we do everything now it's an 8. We do everything as an 8. So if we're doing social media, the kids are involved. We're going to do dogs, the kids are involved. And we talking about real estate, the kids are involved. We have to find balance. You dating, you got to be a student of your wife all the time. You always have to, you got to learn. You got to learn, because, those 5 love languages just change every day.
Absolutely.
Another thing is as a man, you gotta die to yourself. So I often die to myself. So she could be in the wrong, and I'll be like, baby, I'm sorry. I don't want to go to bed, no way, shape, or form, but unhappy. So I want to make sure I'm happy every time we hit that bed. So you gotta a lot of it is dying to yourself, and a lot of it is just you stretching yourself to a limit. So and God don't put nothing on your shoulders that you can't handle.
I love that. I love that. Even, I mean, as a married man myself, I love what you just said about, you gotta die to yourself. You know what I mean? Marriage, I think marriage is probably some of the most difficult work for any of us to go ahead and do, let alone coming from communities where we probably didn't have men showing it to us. You know,
have an example.
I mean, I think marriage is the greatest masterpiece I have ever pulled off, and I'm still learning. But I love what you just said about having to die a little bit to yourself, because I think in today's society, and you would know this because you're a social media influencer, everyone's looking to social media to be raised. Everyone's looking to social media to be exposed. But they don't tell you on social media what you just said, that in order for your relationship to grow from, your boyfriend, girlfriend to engaged to marriage, we have to learn how to die a little bit to ourselves. But it's not a loss; it's a major win. But
not a war. If you look at it like, I mean, remember we talked about the book, The Art of War, and we had a big, the war is not a battle between me and you right now. It's longevity. So your longevity has to be able to maximize and minimize at the same time your debates, arguments, and whatever's going on in that process, so you could be able to win the war later on. So when you get to that place where you're 50 or 55, it's smooth sailing into the way that you move on to the upper room. That's where we plan on going, is upstairs. So you have the upper room, you know what I mean? So you wanna just, you just gotta be able to, give and take. I mean, I just feel like our perception of a man is that we gotta be so masculine. I mean, we can't be vulnerable. So I'm vulnerable all the time. I'm gonna tell you how I feel if I'm sad, happy, or indifferent, because I need her because that's my other half. She's gonna tell me what's right and what's wrong. You know what I mean? I expect it. I have this expectation that you got my best interest. And that's how a woman feels about you, that you have her best interest. So,
yeah, I think it boils down to trust. You know what I mean? Vulnerability was, I'll say it for myself. I hated being vulnerable for years. And I just, I didn't want to put myself in a vulnerable position. I didn't want you to know too much about me. I might not even want to know too much about you. It's like, we just want to have fun, but your relationships don't really grow until you learn the importance of vulnerability, until you realize that if God matched you, he matched you for a reason. And it's just like, I have learned that my wife is a lot better at a lot of things than I am, right? And I am better at her than a small amount of things.
Right, that's right. Be careful.
A small amount. But when those two things are working together, what I mean, you're clicking on all these other cylinders.
So it's levels off. Your small becomes major because it levels off to her. You know what I'm saying? It gets there. It'll get there one day. You know what I'm saying? But we can talk about this topic forever. Listen. I think this is much needed. I think our community needs this topic. I think we need to have this conversation often. I think we need to talk about relationships often, even with your stepchildren, even with your full children, even with your kid's mother, even with your baby father. All that stuff needs to be talked about. And that's the reason why. I mean, that can bring things more closer in our community. Our community should be more closer. I know my baby father not be good at this, or he hasn't been this, but I don't mean not beat him up. I know my baby mother as not this person, but I don't mean you have to beat her up. So, I mean, we all fall victims to a lot. So we got to be able to change the narrative so we can get these babies to that position.
I like it, man. And I think, that's part of it. I mean, right now we're in a space where talking about things that used to be taboo. Now you can talk about finances. Now you can talk about therapy. Now you can talk about your different problems, right? And it's kind of like, I think it's, especially for young adults, we feel like when we make mistakes, we feel like that's the end of the world. And it's not the truth. It's just like, I've made 10,000 mistakes. You know what I mean? I tell people I got kicked out of high school. So for me to be able to turn that situation around and to be able to be utilized by God, you know what I mean? It just shows you that one small mistake or one situation shouldn't be the ultimate determining factor who you're gonna be.
Right. We need that.
Yeah. Well, let me see, man. I'm gonna get to it. I got some heat for you. One, because I know you grew up in the Capital District. So for you, what part of the Capital District did you grow up in, Twan? I always like to pinpoint it down.
Well, majority of my high school year, I lived in Rensselaer. So when you say grow up, there's this, I was cross town. We went to the boys club. My father lived downtown. My mom lived uptown on West Street. I had family on Grant. I grew up the whole, not North Oakland.
Okay.
Everywhere West Oakland.
He said every place but
North Oakland. Every place in North Oakland. I grew up the whole so.
Okay. All right. I always like to narrow it down, because one of the things we talk about is that some people don't realize that there's so much talent that comes from up out of Albany, that's still in Albany, that doesn't get highlighted and recognized. So I'm gonna go right back to it, man. How or why did you become a social media influencer? I think I might have looked at your page yesterday. You got like 37,000. I think your wife is up to like 170,000. How'd you guys get into social media?
Well, my wife came up with the idea, and she was saying that I think this would be a great way so we could be able to tell our story. Also be able to show, a modern family. She had this, she has this idea, and I think that is great. But I think that what we took from it is that we could be able to be who we are. Like, I'm just naturally a funny person, and she's naturally she's a serious person. But to have that balance, move that smaller load, to have that balance and make it on paper and make people see that there's Black families out there that's having fun, that's traveling the world, that's, that has 5 kids, that has dogs, that's, doing successful things, and not saying just those news clippings of father beats his wife, or wife, baby mama, or stuff like that. So, we always, I still have that passion working with kids and families. So why not try to do it through social media? And then maybe one day somebody will say, hey, can you come talk at my school? Or, hey, can you go talk at our church? Hey, can you do a relationship thing? Those are the things that we really want to get to,
I love
so this is our resume right now.
Hey, listen, and it's a huge and ever growing resume, man. Like, I think you guys might have put something out not too long ago about you traded off getting gifts for the holidays to do vacationing. Me and my wife were in here having a whole conversation just about that alone, and how important it is, to create memories, to create experiences. Why did you guys decide to trade off the gifts for memories?
Well,
what was the logic behind that, I should say?
Well, it's stats behind those things. Like, we got 6 kids, and they said the average American spends $750 on a kid. That's $4,200 for our house. And not saying that, we can't do it or somebody can't do it, but what's the logic behind that? Buying those gifts. My son is 3, and he has a different toy every week. So, he plays with a different toy. It could be dad one week, mom the other week, Spider-Man this week. So if you're going to throw the toy out, right, why not get them bare minimum gifts and travel the world? I don't know if you've ever been to, Colorado, but driving through those mountains is something that you'll never see. I could never imagine driving through mountains. I could never imagine going skiing in Aspen. I could never imagine just seeing, I want to see a moose. I want to see the real reindeer. I'm excited every time we go somewhere. I'm like, is there a moose? Because if you see them on, the Discovery Channel, things are massive. They're huge. So just imagine seeing animals and stuff like that, or swimming with dolphins, or just, saying, all right, we've been here before.
Yeah.
I've been to Florida one time growing up, and, the handful of times going to New York City. I remember the first time I went to North Albany, I thought we was in a different city. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's just, but I want my kids just to see, we plan on going to like Hawaii. We're planning on going like overseas and stuff like that. These are the things we're planning on doing. And I think those are more, more memorable. It's more just than gifts. Like, we don't own a PlayStation. I don't own Xbox and none of that stuff in the house, because I feel like we should be outdoors. We could be doing a garden or something, mowing the lawn. I didn't play PlayStation all my life. So I don't own those things now.
Nice.
Right.
Nice. Yeah, I love it, and I think it was an excellent choice and decision for your family, because I'm big on experiences, right? I tell my wife all the time, I'll spend money on experiences any day.
Right.
Right. The different things. I'm like, I'm good. I got more than enough than what I actually need. I don't need that, but experiences is something that you can remember that.
Right. Yeah, like, you want your kids to understand, like, it's bigger than just Jordans.
Yeah.
It's bigger than just, whatever the designer clothes is. I remember for a year we was shopping at the thrift store for like a year. We live a minimalist life. We ain't spending, big bucks on furniture or big bucks on clothes. That's going with the way. I remember if I would, just do the calculation of your 4 years in high school and see how much money you spend on clothes. Mm-hmm. And that's you probably could have bought a house. Put a down payment on a couple houses.
I am not going down that path with you, because I use you as an example for a lot of times, because it was like, I remember after coming home from college, we used to go out all of the time, right? And I remember there was this one night that you and I split the bill at like Blue 82, right?
Yeah.
Yo, and it was just like
$300 bill. Yeah.
Listen. I was like, what are we doing, right? And it was just like, ever since that night, I had to ask myself, because at the time I had my own apartment too.
Right.
So I'm just like, listen, I can't spend money the way that everybody else may be spending money to grab everything else, or to look this way or whatever. I was like, yo, you know what? Me and Twan did that, but I ain't doing that again. So, you know what I mean? So, but it'll take situations like that to put everything in a perspective for you, and then once you realize what's important, you move differently.
Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, but it was good times. But when you look back at it,
it was stupid.
You know what I mean? One, like you said, what do you have to show for the clothes, right?
Right.
So now, but the experiences I always have. You know what I mean? The experiences for your kids, they'll always have.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, another thing I want to let people know, it's not that expensive what people think. It's not, traveling is not, I don't know how people travel, but it's not like a $5,000 trip every time you see us going out of town. It's not that expensive. You just have to have a budget, and you got to be able to stick to your budget, and always get, and I tell people this all the time, always get, wherever you're staying at, make sure you got a kitchen. Cook your own food. You don't have to go out to dinner every night. We don't go out to dinner every night. Sometimes we go out of town, we might stay in a hotel or where we're staying at for a day. So we could just chill and watch TV, watch a movie and jump around, because we can't jump on our beds here. I'm definitely, I'll go to somebody else's house. I'll go to your, bro, don't let me stay over at your house. I'll go jump right on your bed. Just doing stuff we ain't gonna do here, hide and seek or something, maybe want to, we might play kickball or something, do something that you don't normally do at your own house. Just, Sundays in the bed or something like that. Stuff that we didn't remember the first time you had a root or float?
Nope. I never had one.
I don't either, but I remember that I have one. And I remember that I haven't had one since I had kids. So my kids, to see them to have a root beer float, they like, oh my God, this jump so good. You're not having soda every day. You're just doing this for the trip. That's it. So when you just be mental. I mean, it's like you said, it's experience.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Yeah, and you also tackled a budgeting, right?
Yeah.
You know, now I teach financial literacy for my church here, right?
Ooh.
So, you know, a couple of years ago, my wife and I did the Financial Peace University with Dave Ramsey. But, you know, just realizing how important budgeting is. And it wasn't something that I ever really learned how to do. I didn't learn how to do it as a young man. I didn't learn how to do it as a college graduate. You know, it was something I learned later in life. But those skills are the skills that we're passing down to our kids now. And saying that, you know, we're in a different position now. And these are the things that, you know, I wish that someone would have given me at the time. And I would have knew how to take advantage of it. And it was like, but most times we're not having those conversations. So it's kind of like, if you get access to money, the first thing you're thinking about is, how do I spend it? You know, how do I make it look like I got a lot of money? We're not talking about, how do I invest it? How do I keep the money that I have? How do I make sure that I'm thinking about long term? And, you know, I love that the conversations have changed. I love that we can talk about finances. I love that we can talk about therapy, relationships. If you look at this, where is this?
The bookshelf?
This bookcase behind me. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing but books up on this one. And a lot of them are about relationships, or the ones that I keep in this room. You know, it's about relationships. It's a constant reminder. We are what we feed ourselves. So, you know, I'm always reading, I'm always learning. And, you know, I think it's important, because what you get out of life is definitely going to be based upon what you put into it. So, you know, and you're a prime example of that. You know what I mean? You know, congratulations on you finishing up your degree. I did see that recent post for you for that one.
Yeah, man. That was I think that was more of a challenge, you know, just trying to complete something, you know, getting it done. You know, originally I had, you know, right before that I was incarcerated. So I went to jail. And it was just like, you know, when you sitting in that cell and, you know, you got so much talent and you got so much things to offer, it's like, you know, I got to make sure certain things that I have to do. I got to get that, you know, that time back with my kids, my wife, you know, my life and stuff like that. So it was just more of a like, should I do it or should I not do it? But, you know, accomplishments, you know, is always good, you know, so I'm happy about it.
I'm happy for you. Thank you. It's a huge accomplishment, and I think it's one that we don't give each other enough credit for, because you could have very easily said, you know, I don't need it at this point in my life. Right. But it was just like, hey, like you said, it was an accomplishment. It was something that was hanging over you that you wanted to finish and see through.
It was more mental. Yeah, it's mental.
Yeah. So, you know, it's a huge accomplishment, bro.
Thank you.
You don't ever think anything other than that, because there's a huge population in the world that never got a chance to do what it is that you pulled off. Pull it off after going through adversity. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you know what? So that's why I love seeing your story. I love seeing, like, before I got on camera, which I was like, man, you look good. You know what I mean? and that's how it's supposed to be, because if you go back home sometimes, some people that we went to school with don't look like that, or, you know what I mean? They might have a different perspective. And it's like, it's really important to give thanks to be where we are today and realize that it could have gone 10,000 other ways.
It could have been worse. Yeah, man. Yeah, I agree, bro. I definitely agree.
Yeah. Well, my next question for you is, do you give yourself permission to change? So, you know, thinking about the different professions that you might have been in, thinking about the cities that you might have lived in, think about as you have grown as a man, being married and as a dad. Do you give yourself permission to change? Why or why not?
I think you have to. I mean, I think it should be like, you should wake up every morning wanting to learn and change, because sometimes, you know, we're not perfect. So, you know, we always have, you know, things we do wrong, you know, some things that we could have did different, you know, raising my kids, you know, from Lisa all the way down to my newborn. You want to try to change certain things. You know what I mean? You want to change the way you walk, talk. You want to change what you read. You want to change things that you have around you, the people you have around you. You want to change, you know, you got to be a student to the things that's going on around you. You know, you got to be, so you have to want to change. I don't want to talk for no one else. I have to want to change. I gotta have to want to do something different. My wife might not like something I'm doing. So then why not change? My kids might not understand what I just said to them. So why not change the way I talk to them?
Absolutely.
You know, so I believe you do have to change, you know.
Okay. And, you know, as I said earlier at the top of the interview, for those who might have missed it, Antwan and I worked together for years doing a mentoring program where we work with 12 to 18-year-olds. And motto was super significant for a lot of reasons. Reason number one was because us as young Black males in our 20s, we were leading by example to showcase other 12 to 18-year-olds what could be done, right? So we were able to mentor them and their experiences, and to see, you know, I mean, some of these guys go off to get their master's degrees, their doctorates, to be living in California, to be living in Florida, you know. A lot of that had to do with everyday sacrifices that we were doing as mentors. But my next question for you is, did you have a mentor growing up? And if you did, what was the impact of having a mentor?
I had this question a week ago, and we was talking. I had a question with a friend of mine, and we said it was crazy that we didn't have that. We didn't have mentors growing up. Man, we had, you know, people that came in and said, you know, things, but the people that were mentors were my friends, the people that was around us. And how crazy it sounds is that that's the way these kids are growing up today. There's no one, you know, it took a lot for Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know, and then even with the trips that we took, it took a lot, you know. First time me cooking on a grill was at the camping trip. You know what I'm saying? So the sacrifices that, or I could have burned all the food that day. You know what I'm saying? you know what I'm saying? But it's just you know, it was teachable moments, and it was just tough because, you know, we didn't know. I didn't know much without having a father or a male figure that was above my age, besides everybody that was at my same age. From you, Scooby, Malcolm, to the people that I hung out in the streets with. It was nobody really older enough to say, hey, yo, this is how you should, like I just said before, this is how you should carry yourself as an individual. We learn from each other. I learned from, like, all right, this is book. Rel's reading a book today. Maybe I should read a book tomorrow. Scooby works at the state building. Should I go apply for the state? Malcolm was working in a store. Maybe I should look into owning a store. So I didn't learn from nobody, but nobody that I knew. And friends, you know, we had Brandon. You know what I'm saying? But Brandon, the boys club, time we was like 11 or 12, Brandon wasn't there no more.
Yeah.
So all we knew was, from my father all the way into the men that we knew, was just, I'll show you my back. Not saying it was like on purpose or whatever, but that's just all we knew. That's all I knew.
Okay. And I think it's important to point that out, that, you know, especially for as grown men today, but just realizing, you know, what were the missing pieces, or what were the things that might have been beneficial to us, if we had them. But I think without having the example, without having the example, I think that we did a really good job of showcasing these young men, of showcasing our community, of what could be done with investments. Twan, I watched you, no lie, several times. Like, we be mapping out programming for the next year, and yo, the way your brain worked, you will come up with a whole curriculum in like 30 minutes, right? And I'd be like, yo, how'd you do that? But he'd be like, but I can't put it down on paper. I was like, but you know, that's how we do it. Okay, you give me these ideas, you know, bro, I can put it there. He was like, you know, that's the whole purpose of having a team. what our motto was, teamwork makes the dream work.
Dream work,
But
right.
it was just like, we were creating these experiences for these young adults that, they still talk about to this day. I got looped into a group chat on Facebook for all of the kids from Green Tech, and all of them were just like, yo, how do we bring the mental model back? You know what I mean? It was like, yo, how do we do it? How can we start that? And you start to realize how impactful the program really was. And I think just drawing off of our own authenticity allowed the program to be great. And so even without having a mentor, you turned out to be a huge mentor for so many other people. So we're talking about Colorado, you know what I mean? We got a chance through the Children of Nature Network to bring our kids to Denver, to San Francisco, to New York, to Baltimore.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
we did a lot.
Yeah.
It's a good, that right there. Once the cameras go off, you go over there, go sit in your corner, start crying. Because sometimes you don't know. I worked at Berkshire, and I get some of these kids that hit me up and say, "Man, you was the coolest. You was the realest person I ever met." Now, so you respond like, "What do you mean by that?" You said some things that I never heard it before. I'm thinking you just talking about the way my swag or something like that. But you talking to these kids, you got one-on-one time with these kids, and it's like the more I believe just imagine if we had. I don't got no regrets. I have no regrets. I'm 38. I have no regrets. I couldn't imagine if I had someone just saying, "Yo, do this," because we were so ambitious. We had with no internet, with prepaid phones, with stuff like that. We still was everywhere in Albany having conversations. We ran. I was telling my wife the other day, the model program was teaching 210 grown men how to interact with kids. We was 19, 20, 21, 22. And then we had a whole full-blown conversation. We talking to the city, the state, and we was babies. We wasn't seasoned or nothing. We was just coming out of the package. And it was just like, just imagine, hey, we need you 5 guys to do X, Y, and Z for this program. We're going to switch out to another program. Somebody should have took us under the wing. Somebody lead.
Absolutely. I know you said you don't have any regrets with it though, but I would say that if in hindsight, I wish I might have had at least 2 or 3 more years of age and maturity on me while we were doing that. Because, what we had was something that was definitely impactful when we got to see it for the 9 years and what we were doing it, but it had the potential to be
great.
Even
Jeffrey Canada.
Jeffrey Canada. Shout out to Harlem. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
It's
a beautiful thing, though.
It's a beautiful thing, only because you realize what you didn't have, but you didn't use it as an excuse. We didn't use it as an excuse. You decided to go out and figure out how to be the man that you are today, which is huge, considering what you just said. Your greatest influences were people who were at your level. Which makes me think about how important it is to have good friends. You know what I mean? Friendship is essential to the soul, but having good friends could either be detrimental. Having bad friends could be detrimental, or having good friends could help to put you and position you to where you really need to be. And I think that's another lesson that especially young adults, and even adults, I'm not even going to limit it to young adults, realizing the importance of people that you keep in your life and letting things or seasons go that should be removed. Right. Yeah. But my next question for you is this, I'm sure it probably has changed for you, but we're going to figure it out. Everyone defines success differently, Antwan. How would you define success?
Oh, man. That's staying, it's not money. I don't know if it's not money for me. I guess success for me is to have my family together.
Mm.
You know, we've been, you know, my mom was single parent forever. You know, a lot of my, you know, I got brothers, you know, I haven't seen forever. And that's not cool to me. You know, having dysfunctional families, you know, being around dysfunction, you know, stuff that's not, you know, everybody's not together, you know, worrying about stuff that does not matter. And, you know, my success is for me to be able to raise my children the right way and to have them to be able to have children, you know, to keep the legacy going on, regardless if it's wealth, generational wealth, or being poor. Because I think that, you know, you want your family to be more loved than worrying about a dollar bill, or more, you know, aware of who my family is or who my support system is than worrying about the latest sneaker or because this person has more. So I just, you know, I guess just being around my family and making sure that they're successful, they're happy, you know, trying to do the best I can, you know, to be the best father, husband, friend to my wife, the best support system I could be, especially now when my child is only 8 days old. So I got to be a support, you know, I got to be a kickstand as much as I can. So,
shout out to you on that one, man, because I mean,
nobody wants to be poor. I'm not saying be poor. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, you know, you just want to make sure you just happy, just love.
Yeah. But I think there's a lot of realness behind it because, you know, most of us come from single family households. Most of us come from families that are or would be easily considered poor. I know I did.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? But I had a lot of values, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was just like things that outlasted poverty, right?
Hey. You know, one thing that when you said a lot about a value, we was getting our behind kicked that day at that Troy game. And your mom and my mom was the loudest people in the stands, and they was winning. Yeah. And, you know, the support from people when you down at your lowest. Because, you know, we on the sideline, we looked at each other.
Like, man, what they doing?
Yeah, but looking at it now, at being fathers and, you know, being, you know, adults, is like, no matter what my kids go through, I want to be there. I want to be Sherlyn Chapman and your mom. Yep. I swear I want to be just like that. My mom, oh man, your mom and they was friends. Yeah. It was tight.
Listen. You know the cool part about that, Twan? The cool part about it is, as we got older, you realize how finite, how limited time is. Right. And being a single parent, being a single mother, you're constantly working. You probably got other people that you're trying to take care of too. So being able to have our mothers at that football game, that was significant all by itself. It was like, I can count on one hand how many games, you know, my mom was able to actually attend. Like that was awesome. Everything. And, you know, so now, you know, I mean, you realize the importance of being there and showing up when those opportunities happen, because, you know, you have two parents. And when you have two parents, what does it say in the Bible in Ecclesiastes, 2 is better than 1, right? Because, you know, where I fall short, you know what I mean, my wife can help me out and pick me up. Or if she falls short, I can help her out and pick her up. But our parents didn't have that. So you got one person who's limited with resources and time trying to give us the best that they could. Amen. You know what I mean? So, amen. And, you know, so when you just say, you know, that's what you want to be like, you know, hey, I live my life based upon what my mom taught me, period. Just like, we're going to have a good time. Yeah. We're going to enjoy people. You know what I mean? It's not about money. It's about people, good people, you know what I mean? Be able to let go of people who ain't good too. Know the difference. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But you know what I mean?
Every time you say something, you make me think about the boy, like something. I remember we had them. You remember them Hanes sweatsuit outfits we had?
Facts.
We thought those were the coolest sweatsuits. Oh man, yeah, you gotta.
It didn't take much. It didn't take much, and that was the cool part. And I always tell people that the kids in the inner city are some of the most gifted kids that you'll ever meet.
Ever, man.
You know what I mean? It's just a matter of people taking time to listen, about people taking time to understand.
Right.
And I think I said this with JC when I interviewed him in season 1. It was just like the amount of pressures that are on us as young adults, both men and women, you know what I mean, to perform academically, but also to go home to households and situations that are bigger than our pay grade.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Paying for bills and different things like that. You know, so I always tell everyone, the kids in the inner city are some of the most gifted kids you'll ever meet.
Right.
Once you turn on their light bulb, it'll never be dimmed again.
Right.
But you know what I mean? It's a matter of having someone, excuse me, pour into you. It's a matter of having someone know that what's inside of Antwan, what's inside of Tyrell is far greater than what they even see right now. And that's what it's all about. And now for us, it's our job to continue to pay it forward. You know what I mean? And you know, I see what you're doing every day, man. Raising women, raising boys, being a father, talking about fitness. I think about you whenever I go in the garage and work out. I say, listen, I got to add 30 minutes of cardio in because Twan told me. That's how I shed it. So yeah.
We all right, man. We ain't done yet. We still got a lot. We got a lot of fight left.
We
ain't get to the 12th round yet.
No.
I'm thinking about like round 3.
That's listen. That's good. I'm definitely not in round 3. I'm gonna say I'm in at least round 6. That's okay. I got 6 more good ones.
You got 6 more good ones.
6 more good ones.
You about to get back. You're right there. You at round 3.
I got 6 more good ones, and I'm gonna keep them. I got 2 more questions for you, Twan. I'm gonna let you go.
Yes, sir.
Thinking about your younger self, thinking about the younger Antwan Henry, what is something you wish that someone would have told the younger Antwan Henry that you now know that you would have needed?
Don't waste that time. Don't waste that time doing that. Don't waste that time doing this.
Okay.
Because that's all I did. We graduated in 01. So 19 to the day I went to jail. That's all I did. I drank. So don't waste your time doing foolish activities, partying and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
That's all.
Gotcha.
Time is precious. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna say like I said, I don't have no regrets because I had to go through something to be able to tell my story to help someone else. Gotcha. So, you don't want you don't want to sit there and harp on it and dwell on it until you go right back. You want to be able to, just want someone to tell you, to guide you a little bit differently. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing this. You should be, focus on this. Try to do something like this. And you want people to, you always wanted a father figure, but don't waste the time. Don't waste your time trying to chase something that's not there, that you won't get back. So just time.
I like it. And what is your favorite place to visit in the Capital District area and why?
My mom, my home. Not rest with it. I like to sit, sometimes I just talk to my mom. Other than that, the Empire State Plaza.
Okay.
The Empire State Plaza, you can just, you walk it just looks nice, especially at night. Around that 5 o'clock, September, that's one of the best places in Albany. The walk, the talk. You can sit at the top and look at why the lights get red. You know, that's and Dijon's.
It's not there anymore, man. It's not there anymore.
I know.
Yo, it has gone through so many name changes. We were just in Albany for the last week, and my wife was like, "Where's that restaurant that we ate at when we was driving by?" I was like, "It's right there. It's not Dijon's anymore. It went from Dijon's to something else. But when it was Dijon's, that was our spot.
That was our spot.
Yeah,
that was our."
And people didn't know about it. That was our spot.
That's why it was great, because a lot of people didn't know about it. But I say Empire State Plaza. I just like the way I like sitting at the top right there and just watching the lights just dim.
You just messed me up with Dijon's, man. I'm going back there. You just messed me up. Yeah. Shout out to Dijon's that's no longer in existence, but there's a lot of memories there.
Yes, it is.
And let me see, man. My last question for you is this. What about your life's path, Antwan, are you most proud of?
My last 5 years, not drinking, and teaching my kids, talking to my kids, and raising my kids with a sober mind. When you could see clear, you see things different, and I've been seeing a lot of things clearly. Appreciating a lot of more life currently about stuff I had missed out being intoxicated. I was looking at the pictures from then and now, and I was dark. And my wife asked me, "He's like, why did it change like that?" And I would say, because it had my liver. And people don't know how being healthy. I was overweight. I was 225 at one point. And just seeing myself now, my journey coming, being a married man, being, living, raising 6 children, starting businesses, I could sit down and my wife could talk to me without, and she could get an honest answer from me. Those are, I think that's big to me. I think that's way bigger than, no amount of money, because I still can be running those streets and doing stupid things, but just having a conversation with my wife and she get through to me. God got through to me first, but she's getting through to me. So I think that's maybe, I don't know. That's a good answer.
Listen, come on. I don't think it could have been a better answer than one. Than the one you gave. I don't think it could have been a better answer. One, because I think your successes is not about what everyone can see.
Right.
Sometimes it's the internal success. It's the internal triumphs that people outwardly can't see. So that battle for you has been a battle that most of the people on the outside can't see. But to see, like you said, my skin is different, man. She's like, why are you so dark there? Why are you so light now?
Right.
You know what I mean? To see it on the outside is only a small representation of all of the changes that went on internally. So shout out to you, one, for positioning yourself to listen to God and to your spouse, and to be used to be able to continue to highlight that just because something happens, you don't have to be a product of that circumstance.
Right.
I mean, with the right attitude, with the right support, with the right spiritual foundation, you can grow to whatever it is that you ultimately want to be. And I think your life, what you're doing, what you guys are building is an honest representation of that. So shout out to you for that one, Antwan. I'm absolutely proud of you.
Thank you, man.
I love looking at you and your family.
Thank you.
So I'm proud of you, bro.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I won't hold you up any longer. The back community, I want to thank Mr. Antwan Henry himself, the Ash Way of Life. How can people find you? I know you are on social media. You'll be tagged on all of this, but what's the best way for people to find out more about what you guys are doing? Is it theashlife.com?
We're at the ashwayoflife.com That's also on IG. Antwan Henry on IG. Facebook, Antwan Henry. I'm coming out with a blog. It's up right now, Balancing the Hustle. Start talking about my story. We're on TikTok, The Henry Family. YouTube, The Henry Family. If you have any questions, DM me. I'll give you the best answer I can give you. But yeah, you can reach me there.
Okay.
Let's chat.
All right. Well, listen, guys, you have it. Thank you for being on the back community. Thank you for extending your time with us here, man. And I can't wait to get your story out to the world, bro. Congratulations. And I truly wish you continued success, man. I'll play catch up with you later.
Thank you too. Thank you.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Keep climbing up the ladder. A Black Lives Matter. They matter. Matter. So all you young people, give me all. 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 Matter, matter. A Black Lives Matter. They matter, they matter.